Are you an Aquanaut? Do you even scuba dive? I'll tell you my backstory.
Welcome to Colonize the Ocean podcast, where we discuss oceanic colonization, exploration, and education with your hosts Adam Jewell and Brendan Traxler.
So in last week's episode of our shorts here, I guess in my shorts, I'm going to do these. I talked about how whether the term Aquanaut would be something that everybody was using in the future for people who lived underwater and such. And it got me thinking more about just the term Aquanaut and what that means. And then I got looking at myself and realized that becoming an Aquanaut was one of those, top tier things that I could do. It's one of those bucket list things, like one of the massive ones. Becoming certified to scuba dive was one of the big ones that happened 20 years ago. And I remember at that point in time, it was something I had been wanting to do for 20 years at that point in time, and finally got certified. And I would tell people that it's the first time I felt that level of peace ever in my life. I remember laying on my back on a platform about I think 30 feet underwater, just looking up at the surface, and as the pressure of the water, the silence of everything around me, all I could hear was, my regulator and the bubbles coming from that, the warmth of the water, the sunlight coming in through the ceiling of the water as well, and I just can't express how amazing that feeling was, and I hope that other people can get this experience that and realize that as they scuba dive or just snorkel or whatever. But definitely encourage people, if you can, get certified. It's a great experience. It's not the cheapest hobby, but then any worthy hobby is going to cost you some money. But after that is one of those things where at that point in time, I didn't even know becoming an Aquanaut was even an option. But then when I found out, hey, you can go to Jules Undersea Lodge and spend 24 hours there and become an Aquanaut, it was like, I got to do that. And everything at that point in time was a focus on doing that, saving up money. I didn't want to go by myself because I know who I am, and I just don't do things by myself that well. And then it finally happened, what was it, a year and a half, 2 years ago? It was very cool. It was not long enough to be 24 hours underwater. People were like, what are you doing down there and stuff like that. But by the time you dive, you get in there, you eat, you explore your surroundings, you just take it all in. You freak out a little bit, telling people, hey, I'm underwater and stuff. It's almost time to go again, because we did a night dive. We watched some TV, got on our phones, all that type of stuff. Everything you would normally do, and that's the whole thing is if we're going to be building underwater habitats, they have to be like that. The people have to be able to sit there and watch TV, go over to the microwave and heat something up, sit on their phones and text or Snapchat or whatever you're going to do, and just live like you normally would live. And we were able to do that. The only thing that I would change, obviously, is that we had a scuba dive down to do it. But that's a whole other podcast. That's a whole other conversation there in itself, which we've talked at ends about. But for me, and I think anybody's been following this, so the first time I tried to do it, which was like a year prior, I got down there and had kidney stones and had to be pulled out of the thing pretty much. And so I got to go back a year later and actually complete that journey. But be really very real with you right now, it was those struggles to get to that point in time after having kidney stones, laying in a bed in Miami, Florida, thinking I was going to die. I questioned the whole underwater thing. Was it worth it? I had a bad experience one time diving, and I just wanted to throw in the hat type of thing, but I'm glad I didn't. I fulfilled that goal, and now we're working for the bigger goal of designing, building, and selling underwater habitats. So I guess all that to say is don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goals. Step by step, do them. And this is a little bit different short than usual. I'm not talking about anything specifics, but just more of my own life here, just a little tidbit of that, and just an encouraging aspect of, hey, mine was to get certified to scuba dive, and then after that it was to become an aquanaut, and now it's to build underwater habitats. And although the underwater habitats has been there the whole time, it's once again, it's just stair step to stair step to stair step to get to that point in time. So I can just encourage anybody out there listening to this, don't go for those lofty goals at first. I mean, if that's how you work and you can do that, great. But for most people, I think that just the old saying is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's how life often is too. So I just want this podcast here, this really short one here, is just to be a very encouraging aspect of, you can do what you set out to do. It's just going to take time. Patience is a big thing about it too. And just take it a piece at a time. You can achieve it. So I guess the question I'm going to leave people with is what is your goal? What is it you're struggling to get to? And what is the first little step you can take? It may be something minor. Say you want to start a business. It may just be as simple as just filing the LLC. That doesn't cost much money. You can simply do it, and you can just set that first little thing. So I just encourage you to tomorrow when you're listening to this, or today, if you're listening to this on Monday when this comes out, or whenever you're listening to this, just take your first step. It may just be a minor one. It may be putting $10 in the bank. Who knows what it is? But what are you trying to achieve, and how can you achieve it?